Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
In the morning.
Can't be giving me no bad news about equipment right before the show.
Man, the tech is gonna tech.
Make a tech head sad.
Man, so sad I missed Killer Mike yesterday, man.
We need some personal assistance.
Man.
That's right, you stumbled in on Conversations with First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah.
I don't know, Judy. It's a Friday.
Yeah. Check 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Testing this thing on.
Roger, loud and clear.
Breaker 19.
Ain't nothing but a muffin. Got a lot of butter to go. Screens up.
Systems a go.
Systems go. Radio channels on. Check. Facebook's up. YouTube's going. Paul B. the Dove, Buddi3 Da Gawd. Now, fresh edition of First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Chad Chimers, Ghost listeners, radio listeners. Good morning to you on this Friday, June 9th, 2023. Man, Leia keeps to lay one on us today. Fry yippee yo, yippee yay yay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fry yippee yo, yippee yay yay. I like that one.
Judy Princess says happy Friday. Good morning to you. Pop says good morning, First Sky, and mad love from Las Vegas. Appreciate that Las Vegas love. Amy H. No Dot is in the house today. Says good morning and happy Friday. Happy Friday to you too.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going?
Shout out to Beth, who already gave me a thumbs up on the set list on the 630 Club set list this morning. So appreciate you checking in from the radio channel. Just to remind y'all, you can go to firstsky.omaha.com, hit the listen button, and check out the digital radio channel that we got going over there, playing some really good music. And we're looking at doing some putting some shows and other things on the radio channel coming up here in the next season, which will be ending next week.
Yeah, this season. One last week, y'all. This is Friday before last.
Wow. It's happening fast.
Yeah.
Amy H. Dot in the chat. She says, good morning, fam. Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming on in this morning. Everybody comes in early. I really appreciate it. You know that it's all about the good mornings and saying hellos for the first 15 minutes of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Vicky, check in. Yeah, checking on in with Vicky Young. She gives us a good morning as well. Good morning to you. Over there on Facebook. Do us a favor, share the show on Facebook if you're so inclined to tell a friend and let some more people in the conversation. Appreciate that very much. And thanks for liking and subscribing over at YouTube as well. Everybody that has done so keeps doing so. Excuse me. I understand the next milestone is 1,000 people we need over there now.
Yeah. On the tube.
Yep. So we're a little over 200 now. So just we'll spread the word, try to get some things going. We're about to work with some other friends of First Sky Omaha to beef up the YouTube page. There'll be some new content and stuff going on over there as well, some behind the scenes and all kinds of stuff to offer, man. There's, lots of conversations and things going on around what we do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And it's time to let people know about it.
Yes. Good way to put it. Looking at expansion, looking at growth, man. As they say, a good marker of a business's success. There we go. Is their ability to make it past year 3. If as a small business, if you can make it past year 3, they say a vast majority of businesses kind of fail within that window. So if you make it through, it's a good sign. It's a good sign. So here we are again, midway through year 3, season 6
Nope,
approaching.
nope, year 2. We ain't made 3 years yet.
It's this is year 3, bro. We do
Nah,
2 seasons a year. We're approaching year 6.
well,
We did the first season from the Void in 2021. Did the second
it's
season from
has
the
it been
Moon.
3 years?
It's been 3 years, bro. We've been
Why do
doing this since 2021.
why did we have a party on our 3rd year?
You said why didn't we?
Yeah, why didn't we?
Well, we didn't have a party last year.
You know what? I'm not gonna try to decipher the inner workings of time. I don't even believe in the concept.
This
But,
is the
yeah,
third year, bro.
this is the 3rd year for real?
Yeah, by 2024, we've been doing it by
That's crazy.
2021. Yeah,
That's crazy.
at the end of the 6th season will be the end of the 3rd year. We're in the
Okay.
middle of it.
Well, for those of y'all that's been with us all the way back since the Mind
Yeah,
and Soul days,
thank you.
we family for real. Wanda Lewis in the house, as a matter of fact. She says gives us a good morning over on Facebook. Yeah, I guess we've been doing this a little minute now. That's what's up. That's what's up. I
Yeah,
like to hear that. I like to hear
yeah,
that.
yeah. See, but that's the thing, man. We've been just kind of head down
Head down,
working for
right.
so long that you don't realize that 3 years have passed. But we've been doing this now going on 3 years, and again, I say all that to say it's still a lot of growth, a lot of a lot of progression to be made.
Yeah. I just remember just getting scolded for us not having a party for our 2-year anniversary. So I knew good and well we weren't 3 years yet, but I guess you're right. 3 years
Mhm.
ago, a friend of mine. How you doing anyway, brother?
Yeah, man. So we're here and looking to be here, for the foreseeable future. But
That's what's
we'll
up.
be taking a break.
How you doing over there, buddy?
Looking forward to the break. I'll tell you that much. Looking forward to the break. However much of a break it will be, because we do have some things to get done, and kind of at the finish line of some things. So have to push through as a lot of creatives, a lot of people who work on projects. You can kind of get that complacency, get that relaxation towards the end of projects when that finish line is in sight. So trying to push through.
Yeah.
Of course, preparing to. I'll be there in a couple weeks.
Yep. 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 We got to get that date going for the kickback for
Yeah,
sure.
man.
Von Chapman in the chat says good morning with some sunshine. Good morning to you, brother Valadera says morning. Appreciate you guys
Hey,
coming on
good
in.
morning.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like the break is coming up, but the break is not really a time break. It's like it's more of a focus break. Like I'm
Yeah.
a firm believer in the fact that human beings really can only focus on one thing at a time. I think that multitasking is a myth. Uh,
Mm.
you can do a couple things at a time, but they're both going to lack a little bit. But putting your focus in on one thing at a time. So definitely have some things that we got to do over the break that is going to take a little focus, and so that's why I'm looking forward to is that ability to zone in and knock some things out. Some funding stuff and the new website and everything that we got coming. We'll be
Mhm.
able to kind of take the time during that break and focus in on it. So I'm looking forward to that. But it's usually more time and work than the actual seasons on the break. But we're gonna make it work, and then also we're gonna definitely have that Chad Chimers kickback since Buddy's gonna be in town too, and celebrate the fact that we celebrate the end of season 5 and the beginning of season 6,
Yeah, man.
and the fact that I guess we're 3 years in and all that good stuff. So
Yeah. It's the third year, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's what's up, man. Anything
How
else?
you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I was a little under the weather yesterday, so I kind of laid low. I think I'm getting a little sinus infection. The allergies has been killing me. And I don't know if we're getting hit by what New York got hit with all the fires coming from
Mm.
Canada. You see them
Yeah.
pictures?
Man, I've seen not just pictures, I've seen video. I've seen like radar video of just all of the smoke. There's actually apparently been a record number of fires in Canada, wildfires. Looks like there's actually going to, as the seasons heat up, as things warm up throughout the summer. It's looking like that is going to get worse in Canada. And yeah, there's been a few reports of not just smoke, but full out toxic plumes are being reported, and actually there might be some evacuations coming. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's gonna be an interesting season with that. Definitely, as we said, for a new reason. But the mask, man, you might you might want to double back, at least keep a mask in your glove compartment, your back pocket, something. Cause yeah, it might be a little foggy this
Man,
summer.
I might have to invest in some kind of straight up gas mask or something with what's going
Man,
on these
man.
days. Just walk around like looking like a raver from the '90s.
Yeah, no, I've definitely seen the dystopian looking fog pictures from New York. I mean, you can barely see on the other side of the bridge. You know, it's so bad. Um, so
Terrible.
yeah, definitely be careful out there. It's definitely especially those of you who plan on traveling up to the Northeast sometime this summer, Philadelphia, New York area. Yeah, it's going to be very, very, very dangerous as far
Yeah.
as air quality.
So I don't know. I think we got a little bit of something like that going on here too, because everybody I know that's got allergies like mine is really suffering right now.
Mm,
And so we kind of we close enough. I remember us getting some residual stuff from Canada too. Canada fires happening.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, not so much as much as New York got, but like most definitely it's probably hitting us hard over here too. So I was kind of under the weather, really feeling sick yesterday, like kind of laid up, took a bunch of allergy medicine, cold medicine and all that. I feel
Mm.
better today, but I'm definitely still fighting something.
You know what? Actually, I got an air quality warning this morning here in Atlanta. I don't know if it's
Really?
connected, but yeah, I mean, I am here on the East Coast. So it is possible, southern winds can carry it, but um, yeah, we are getting air quality
It's just all over
warnings
the place.
here in Atlanta. So yeah, definitely be careful out there, y'all, especially those of you who have allergy issues. Keep the pills on deck.
Check this out. This is what cracked me up. They
Man,
juxtapose how New York is looking with the Blade Runner 2023.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah,
Man, looking like Booker Eli out there.
right. For real, straight up Book of Eli. Well, I was tripping on that, man, because I'm like how are people even walking around in that kind of stuff? They tell them to stay inside, but what good does that do? You know what I'm saying? I guess you're not breathing it directly, but like how much is your air conditioner and
Filtration.
stuff? Yeah, how much is it filtering out? It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Pops in the chat. He says, I agree with you, Paul, about multitasking. As the Bible says, a person cannot serve two masters. Yeah, man.
Mm.
I think human beings are made to concentrate on one thing at a time. This is what it is. I think that multitasking thing is a myth, and it's something that people are trying to make make you twice as productive as you should be. I don't know. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, yeah, but I found that over the course of years that whenever I'm trying to concentrate on two things, both things suffer for
Oh
real.
yeah, oh yeah. I always find when I consider myself multitasking, it just ends up being busy work, and yeah, nothing gets done. So yeah,
Half listening, half talking to people in
right.
conversation. So that's what's up. I like the fact that we focus here for a couple hours of talking to the chat chimers, and this is makes it so that I got in my mind what's happening. I'm going to act accordingly the rest of the day, but I got a chance to kind of focus in on it and focus in on what we think about, especially when it comes to local politics and things that's going on in our neighborhoods and so on and so forth. So that I consider this a little bit of a meditation and a focus as well
Mm.
when we're doing this show.
Definitely. So, with that, man, let's go ahead and talk about what we're gonna be focusing on today.
Yep,
I like
yep.
like kind of that segue right there. A lot of
Nice. That
things.
was nice.
Yes, sir. A lot of things to jump into. A lot of things to talk about. So, be prepared to let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. More importantly, again, conversation rules the nation, and we're gonna try to get to the bottom of things together. Definitely looking forward more so public input on the deployment of federal broadband funds. Of course, the internet is something that we talk about here, and I do want to get into it because I'm wondering, especially with the future of things. Of course, we talked about the United States talking about rolling out their own um, fund, their financial platform. Is internet a right? Is the internet becoming a public
Mm,
right? So yeah,
mm.
we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it here definitely soon. So, and of course, looking for your input. So we'll tell you where to direct your input for those decisions and conversations. Also, jumping into the Supreme Court now that legislative sessions have ended. A lot of news coming out about some Supreme Court cases, especially this one on home equity theft. This is actually a story we talked about here on the show. If you remember, a few families lost their homes and didn't find out until they were reading the morning paper. Just imagine reading the morning paper over your coffee, and in the sales section is your house. Again, that deals with tax delinquency. So we'll talk about that case here in a bit. Also, a big case coming out of Alabama dealing with gerrymandering. Of course, just a few years ago, several states around the nation dealt with their redistricting and again, redrawing of maps and how voting power will be grouped. And there's a case coming out of Alabama that could change a lot of states, not just Alabama. So we'll dive into the decision coming out of that. Also, we do have a few honorable mention stories that we did not get into last episode. I definitely want to try to get into this Cornel West announcement. Again, Cornel West announcing that he will be running for U.S. presidency under the People's Party, which again is a deviation from the Democratic Republican two-wing system that we've been talking about throughout this season. So definitely love to hear your thoughts on this situation. Is anybody familiar with the People's Party? Let us know. Let us know. Also, some financial things to get into. So, again, a lot of things to talk about. Of course, it is Friday. So, hopefully, we'll be able to speak to our senators, Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney, put some respect on their names.
Yep.
So, yeah, a lot of things to get into. But let's go ahead and start the show, man. Just about 15 minutes into the hour. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you. Let's go.
Let's do it. What up, what up, what up, what up? Good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, the Dove, Buddi3 Da Gawd. It's going down. First Sky. And this is chat chimers. This is ghost listeners. This is radio listeners, all in the house today and having some discussion with us. We really appreciate you joining us this morning. Please tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Share the show to your page so we can get as many people in the conversation as possible. We appreciate that. It looks like there's some glitching going on Facebook over here. A couple people said that they are having a problem with it. So if you're having a problem, let us know. If you're on Facebook, let us know if the same problem is happening on YouTube. Any glitching going on over there. If not, the Facebook users, you can always go over to YouTube and check us out there at First Sky Omaha, the YouTube channel. And then, like and subscribe and all that when you get there. So thanks for the feedback. Let us know. Yeah. Let us know what's going on there, man. I looked over here on our end. Looks like we're good on our end as far as the tech is concerned. So it may be Facebook tripping.
Yep. Amy H. Dot saying YouTube is fine. So,
appreciate that very much. Yep. So yeah, if you continue to have problems with Facebook, there, she says technical difficulties, ongoing pauses is what Wanda Lewis is saying is happening, and somebody else said that there is happening with them too. So. Thanks for letting us know. And yeah, you can go over to YouTube and check it out. Pop says that is still the coldest theme song in broadcasting. All fine on YouTube. I appreciate you, Pops. I wish I was the one that made it. That's what we found from a like-minded individual.
Yeah, man.
Judy Princess says I'm good. Okay, cool.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe a YouTube issue. But that is Facebook issue. That is a part of some of the changes that we are trying to make. Still working on the website. So hopefully we can find a way for you to just come to our website and come to our world and be all things First Sky.
I like that.
Yeah, man.
Chat chimers.
Yeah. But we definitely appreciate everybody wherever you're watching. Again, as Paul said, tell a friend to tell a friend. Spread the word. We are trying to and get into things. That's kind of what First Sky is about. Everybody coming together and figuring things out together. Teamwork makes the dream work, man.
There you go. Buddy, what's the first on the agenda? Let's jump in before the senators get in.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and dive into one of the actual functions that we hope to lean into more with First Sky Omaha, not just figuring things out, but getting your input, getting data from all of you. Again, as I say, letting your voice be heard. And this is definitely something that can be used on broadband funds. The conversation is heating up. There apparently is a pot of federal funds for broadband internet. And this is definitely something that we've been talking about here on the show, especially in rural and low-income neighborhoods. Internet is hard to come by. This is something that was definitely apparent during the pandemic when a lot of schools went to remote learning. And the question about, okay, well, what about the students who don't have internet? What about the students who don't have a computer? How can they do remote learning? And again, big shout out to OPS and the former superintendent, Dr. Cheryl Logan, for taking it, out of their big budget to actually pay for some of the internet and make sure that infrastructure is there. But should it be on the schools to do that? And again, that conversation is at the center of this whole ask for input. Again, the public input is being sought at a string of meetings concerning the quality and availability of high-speed internet across the entire state. Sessions are designed to help the state develop a comprehensive approach to provide quality digital access across the state. The Nebraska legislature recently passed a law creating what's called the Nebraska Broadband Office. That office is assuming the job of administering funds provided by a $42 billion federal broadband equity access and deployment program passed as a part of the Biden administration's infrastructure bill. If you remember that conversation, again, each state across the nation got a grade on this infrastructure test, and I believe Nebraska scored a C. So definitely some work to be done. Nebraska is assured of getting at least $100 million from that fund, and may get more if it can show a greater need to reach unserved areas. So again, this is the perfect opportunity for us in low-income areas to speak up, have your voice be heard. The latest public input sessions follow a series held by the Nebraska Public Service Commission. There will be meetings across the state. The meeting in Omaha will take place on July 12th at 5:30 p.m. at the NDOT State Operations Center. That's 4425 South 108th Street. Again, that's Nebraska Department of Transportation Operations Center on South 108th Street. That's July 12th at 5:30. Also, if you're in the Lincoln area, that meeting will be held on July 11th at the Nebraska Department of Transportation and Auditorium. That's 1500 Nebraska Parkway. Again, in Lincoln, July 11th, 1500 Nebraska Parkway. That's also at 5:30.
Okay. Opportunities to let your voice be heard is kind of the point there. I think that the interesting thing about this is that a lot of people think it's, well, we have internet, but is it broadband is the question. A lot of people still have internet that's so slow that it's about as fast as dial-up used to be. If I remember that. You can't really get much done with that. You can't really attach the things that you need to attach on. It's hard to do banking online when you got slow speed. So the question is, does everybody deserve high speed internet in the areas? Because people from North Side who got really slow speeds, like we got slow speeds over here, and you can't even buy sometimes fast enough speeds in the area. Let alone you got people who are we are over here in low income situations where we got to kind of, if we have internet at all, we got to kind of buy the cheapest version of it, which is the reason everybody who is not in that situation always says, well, why don't you just pay for the broadband, pay for more faster internet. Well, a lot of times people can't do that, and then even the people that can do that, if you live in an area that doesn't have that option,
it's not even offered.
Do it. So you can't work from home. A lot of the telemarketing industry that has been born and raised in Omaha has switched to people being at home taking those calls. If you don't have broadband, you can't do that job. So there's so many things here, and of course the conversation all started with the rural areas that don't have internet at all, and the reservations and stuff like that don't have internet at all. And so internet's being, they're talking about trying to get internet there, but also it's room for people on the North Side to speak up, because North Side got really bad broadband situation here. We don't have, there's slow internet happening. The infrastructure's there.
The fiber is laid.
Carol Blood, put some respect on her name. Let the cat out of the bag with that one. Fiber is laid. They just don't use it and turn it on, because they feel like they, in certain areas in North and South Omaha, it doesn't make economic sense for them to extend the broadband situation there, because they don't think there's a market there. But that's why there's this question. Well, does everybody just deserve to go ahead and just have some broadband internet, since the whole world has turned to that? Obviously, these funds coming from the feds say yes to that question. Why would they give up money to try to put broadband in areas if they didn't feel like it was, if the answer to that argument is not, it's a right, we need to be having this, and in people in low income areas and areas that don't have it, the government now is going to help supplement that. That says a lot to me about whether or not we all should have it. Brother Sanchez says, I don't think internet is a right. No,
Okay.
let's
Okay.
expound. We can expound on that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brother Valadera says in rural areas there's nothing. Right? How do we
Uh,
continue funding is a good question too. Right?
this mic is running from me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Pretty soon I'll be talking.
Can't keep running away.
Man, yeah, this mic is running from me. I apologize.
He says it makes Omaha more competitive.
Okay.
I do. I don't know if it is a question for me too, whether or not it's a right. I'm kind of leaning towards like it is a right because there's too many things that I got to do now that I can't even do unless I got internet,
Yeah.
including tax stuff, government websites, jobs, certain
Right.
jobs, school.
Right.
Obviously, school needs it. So I don't know, man. It's um, I think that I think that I'm leaning more towards it being a right in the same way that I feel like water service is a right, but we still have to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of where I'm thinking of. That's along the lines of my thinking. Is it a right as much as some of the fundamental rights that we think of, like freedom and things like that? Maybe not. Maybe not that level. But when you think of where society is going and just where society could go, um, it makes sense to make it at least like you said, if you're living in a house, at least have required in it or something. Like there should be more. It shouldn't be as just optional as it is right now, and it should be way more accessible than it is right
Yeah.
now.
No, I agree with Sanchez. It's not a right. To me, the question is, should it be? Amy H. No Dot says, I think it's like access to radio. We don't have to pay to have access to that. It is necessary.
Right, right. Like public access. Should tax dollars, what let's go there. Maybe not a right, a fundamental right, but will we all be fine with a portion of our tax dollars going to making sure there's internet like everywhere? Like even so, like we would all be able to use it.
Well, if we're gonna go that route, then we need to make sure there's water everywhere and electricity everywhere too. First, I mean, like you know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Are there resources for that? Because it don't seem like it. Like water is not a right.
I
It's a
mean,
human right. It's a right. You can always go down to the river and get water, but getting it pumped to your house is a service that you got
well,
to pay for.
I will push back because there's public water fountains.
That's what that hence the question about whether or not resources, any kinds of resources like that, are rights. And I I kind of feel like the only thing that they're not making us pay for right now is air, and they're trying to find a way to do that.
Yeah, they're getting
Yeah,
close.
my air bill. You can close that door. My air bill is gonna be too high.
Man, especially if things continue to look how they looking in New York. All
There you
right, all
go.
right, all
Mary
right. That's how you capitalize. That's how you
right.
capitalize on it, Validera.
Excuse me. Marianne Williams says, "Good morning. I believe internet is a right, not to be too simplistic, but it is a freedom issue when you can't take a job because broadband is not available." Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Hmm.
when because I'm looking at it from that standpoint. Like everything that we are doing now you have to have internet to do pretty much everything that's going on. There are some countries that only have internet on their phone, and that's how they function that way. They do all their banking, they do all their everything on the phone because that's where they have access. Um, but other people are thinking it's a luxury because if you have broadband now, you can watch Netflix on your TV. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
that's why it's kind of up for debate as far as I'm concerned. Brother Valadero says we deserve clean water. Absolutely. There's a lot of government programs and state programs and stuff that goes to the water supply being cleaned and and everything so it can get to us. They don't do a great job all the time, but it is in place. But why? So if that's the case, then why do we still pay a water bill? What's OPPD about? I mean, what's MUD about? Because MUD could
Hmm.
be sticking us, boy. You get to pay for MUD. You got water coming in, you got to pay for it, and when it goes out, you got to pay for it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so is it so what does a right mean you don't pay for it? That's another good question. If it may be a right, but does that mean that you don't when it's a right, does that mean you don't have to pay for it?
Mm.
So there's a lot, man. There's we're venturing into a whole bunch of kinds of human rights versus law versus
Right, right.
capitalism versus
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of getting into the rest of the iceberg, if you will. But I do think we can all agree that it can be argued that there's some necessity. Like there is. It's kind of getting to a point that if you don't have internet, it's kind of being likened to you being left in the Stone Ages. Let's just call it what it
yeah.
is.
And to get to tie it back around to that article, the thing is that the federal government has provided some funds
100
for
million.
broadband and internet, and the question is where does it go and who deserves to have it, and how who's going to make the decision on where it goes. That's to me what it's about. We've talked to the senators about this before. As a matter of fact, they hipped us to the fact that there was that money sitting there for broadband, and that's something that the black media could be taking advantage of more than the ARPA funds. Black media could be taking advantage of the broadband bill and getting money from that. Especially people like William King, who's got the radio station there.
Hmm.
Excuse me. And so what is that? So and then every time we bring this up, we talk about all the poor areas of the north side, and especially the north side, even more so than the south side, which has really bad internet service. You stand at the We used to be able to stand at the culture house back in the day. I think they finally got upgraded, but that's because the infrastructure got upgraded, and then they upgraded themselves. But before last year, you could stand there and try to buy something at the culture house on your phone and couldn't get service enough to get onto their PayPal.
Yeah. Yeah, they couldn't sell shirts or tickets to events or anything. People have to leave to actually cash app or get on the yeah.
Right. So, is it needed out here? Absolutely. Who's supposed to pay for that? That's the question. Pops in the chat says, "Yep, there are public water fountains, but taking a bath in one is problematic." Oh,
Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah,
That's a
but
good
taking a
point.
bath is taking a bath of rights.
Hmm.
I mean,
You know,
it's all good.
it's a good question. It's a
I
good
don't have
question.
the
It's a
answers
good
to these
question.
questions at all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, this is all food for thought. This is all a conversation, and we're just looking for
Yeah.
input. So, again, if anyone is interested in giving that input, these meetings will be taking place throughout the state. But just to remind, actually, let's just go ahead and drop these dates for Lincoln and Omaha,
Mm,
and in the chat.
okay. You doing that? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, you had it all laid out. Check you out. Okay. Missed all that.
Well, that's a copy and paste,
Oh,
boss.
all right, boss. That'll work. That'll work.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go,
This is
y'all.
this is for us to come to have something to say. So again, once again, we talk about these things on here so we can find the language with each other, figure out what we think and believe, and can go to these kinds of meetings and be real concise about what it is we're asking for. I think we got more discussion to go on this, but for the most part, we can pretty much agree that there's certain areas in Omaha that are lagging far behind when it comes to broadband access. And we probably deserve to have some of them dollars that are coming in from the federal government to be able to beef up the broadband situation in our areas. And if we don't kind of speak up for that, then who knows where it'll go. It might
Right.
beef up the golf course out west somewhere.
Man. Make sure they have signal.
Signal, you can be in the middle of the new lake they're building and be able to
Man.
watch Netflix on your boat. So you never know.
Yeah, that
Yep.
part. That part. So yeah, definitely speak up, have your voice be heard, let your mind be free. But with that, let's keep it
Yep.
moving.
Yep. 7:34 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, if you're just joining us, you're looking at First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the
Paul B.
morning.
the Dove, Buddy the God. Chat
Hey,
chiming
hey.
up this morning. Very nice on a Friday. We really appreciate that very much. And yeah, tell a friend, and share the show. And let's get more people in to talk about some of these things. We're looking forward to seeing the senators come in. Brother Senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne will join us shortly. But in the meantime, between time, what's next on the agenda, buddy?
Man, we're gonna pivot a little bit, and I guess it's still in the same vein though, because is housing a right? Looking at the U.S. Supreme Court decision, how homeowners will definitely be getting some help. This is a story that we've been looking at, and when it was reported, it was quite egregious. If you don't remember, we talked about the story on the show. A family was reportedly surprised when they found that their home that they were in at the time was sold, and they found this out in a newspaper over their morning breakfast. And again, the way that this happens is, if you actually remember that specific story, the family owed just about $500 in taxes on their property. But because they were in delinquency, I think there was a medical issue with the wife of the family that caused them to fall back on their taxes. Eventually, someone swooped in and was able to purchase the property by paying the tax delinquency, and that was it. That was all she wrote. The house was therefore gone. But that law has been pushed and has been moved all the way up to the Supreme Court, which is actually sending two decisions back down to the state. If you remember this, actually, the Nebraska Supreme Court, the state's highest court, upheld this law,
Mm,
in which a lot of critics are calling home equity theft, is the term being used. But again, the U.S. Supreme Court have sent both those cases back for reconsideration to the state's courts. The move was made in light of, again, a May 25th decision from the Supreme Court in a similar case out of Minnesota and Tyler v. Hennepin in Hennepin County, Minnesota, which, again, that issue was found unconstitutional and violated what's called the Takings Clause. Which I had to do a little research, but the Takings Clause comes from the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution and provides a provision widely known again as the Takings Clause, which states that private property shall not be taken for public use without just compensation, which is exactly what's happening in these situations when families, again, are losing their property based on taxes, which is a public issue, based on taxes, and not getting a dime. They're not getting anything. They're just losing their homes and being told good luck. So again, this issue has been sent back down. Hopefully, the decision in Minnesota does set precedent for the decision in Nebraska, and homeowners will then therefore have a little more ammunition or a little more room to keep their homes. This has been used mostly on elderly families, families dealing with medical issues, so those with quote unquote comorbidities. So a lot of people kind of being preyed upon with this law. Again, home equity theft is the name. So
mm,
big decision, or for those who are homeowners.
yeah. Festerson had something to do with this too, didn't he? Was he in the article talking? I
Kavanaugh.
mean, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh. Yep. Senator Kavanaugh called this decision a vindication and reinforcement that he and other senators seek to change Nebraska's delinquent tax sale process, and says that this decision is on the right side. After that legislative wrap up session just last Thursday, lawmakers also approved a legislation which pushed partially by Senator Kavanaugh to amend the state's tax process, which would further ensure that homeowners are compensated for the equity they have built up if their home is seized for property tax debt. So again, homeowners are just losing their home and the equity, the investments that they made in their home, and not receiving a dime. So again, although is this not saving their home, they should be at least getting compensated moving forward. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that
Yeah, it
situation.
was like the state after they take it, they resell it and make a profit off of it, and they're like, why
Yeah,
should they get that profit when the equity was built by the owners, the previous owners? So yeah, it seems
right.
like a little bit of a victory on this, and still though, I would like to see some things in place to be able to make sure that the homeowners can hold on to their homes. Not be sold out from under them without any kind of notice, without enough. They do the barest minimum notice, but they need to do a little bit more to engage people. But yeah, I'm looking. I'm glad that went in that direction. So we'll
Yeah,
see how
yeah. I mean, it's definitely conflict of interest on the state's part. Again, as Paul mentioned, the way it works is once there's delinquency on the taxes of the property, the county puts a lien on that property, and then the county turns around and sells that lien on the property to a third party who pays the homeowners overdue taxes, and then the county, again, as Paul said, makes that profit. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a conflict of interest. Setting tax rates, so high to where certain people can't pay for it. I mean, it's very, very interesting. Not to mention what other backdoor deals are being done with these third party individuals. So yeah, definitely a big decision.
step in the right direction.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to jump back a little bit in the chat because there's some good questions being asked about the last thing that we just talked about. The bigger
Okay.
question, Amy H. Dot says, "Do you think that as infrastructure falls behind and doesn't keep up with new technology advances, the definitions of the second and third world countries would be redefined.
Ooh, so I got a thought for you, Amy H. Dot. Do you have American perception and American reality? And the reality is, America is closer to a third world country than we would like to admit.
According to the definitions,
right? I mean, let's look at poverty levels. Let's look at homelessness levels. Let's just look at infrastructure. I mean, how many buildings that we live in are 100 years plus old?
Yeah, that too.
And have not been renovated, have not been reinforced. I mean, you look at Tokyo, it looks like 2020, 2023 over there.
Yeah, and they look like 2025 over there.
Man, Dubai, have you seen like
Dubai look like 2043?
You know what I'm saying? you feel me? Have you
It
seen
looks
some
like
of these?
We ain't been there. It looks like it. The infrastructure may be something else. And
True.
I don't know any poor people around Dubai that can say something different. But
True.
yeah, but no, we can do. I mean, we know our situation here for real. And yeah, there's a lot. I mean, just knowing that parts of lower income areas and even like the reservation not even having no internet and stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot that you can say on that one.
Man, yeah. Man, not to mention how people in the backwoods living. Like
right.
We're talking about rural, yeah. Man, yeah. Depends on where you go and who you
Marianne Williams says we are required by law to educate our children, and if it requires internet, then internet becomes a right. Schools know this and stepped up to help meet those requirements.
Mm-hmm. And should it fall on schools?
I mean, schools did. Like I said, this federal money coming in for it says that too. I mean, who's saying it's not a right? Who is? You know what I'm saying? Like who is fighting that? That's what I'd like to know who that is. Who's fighting that?
Good question.
Vaughn Chapman is reminding us that Trump got indicted again. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna say too much about that. Yeah, but, we'll see. We'll see when you walk around the orange suit, then we can talk about it. Pop says, from what I understand, a person's property tax must be unpaid for a matter of years, like 3 to 7, and the people are notified from the moment the taxes become delinquent. From the stories that I've heard, they are notified, but it's it can be easily missed. Is what I'm saying. Especially if you're an elderly person who's not and I did hear one story. Speaking of which, is tying these two stories together. I did hear one where one state only sent out emails about it.
Oh man.
So if you ain't got no internet, you don't know your house is being sold. Yeah, man. Brother Valdir says back taxes and internet. Amy H. Dust says that's what I'm saying, buddy. She co-signing on that. 100%. Yeah, we a third world by definition too. Brother Valdir says, yep, we've gotten property like that. Some people let them sit there. Very true. Brother Mayor Sanchez says black sculptor from Creighton. What you talking about?
What you talking about, Willis?
Black sculptor from Creighton. Well, I miss what you said before on that. Let me know about that. I'm into black sculptors. Amy H. Dot says the Navajo res doesn't have any water at all. Water,
man,
water, bro. Is water a right? Brother Sanchez says I'm not fighting it as a right, just saying it's not a right. Right? Yeah. No, I got what you said.
No, yeah.
It's not.
You got freedom, and then you got internet. Like,
yeah. Marianne Williams says the internet providers are fighting it. I can imagine. That's their bread and butter. We talk about Cox all the time. They be fighting everything. They fighting Google.
Man, I was just gonna say. Speaking of that, Google Fiber is trying to make way. I think there's a few other actually internet providers that are trying to make their way into the Omaha market. That Comcast and Xfinity or CenturyLink. They're like, nah, we're yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a trip. Vaughn Chapman says, example of third world infrastructure type failure is the apartment building that collapsed in Iowa. Ooh.
Or man, the various bridges that have collapsed. Man.
Brother Sanchez says, Willa Cather, he put a sculpture in DC's Literary Hall. Oh yeah, I did read about something. Yeah, I did read about that. Yep. I didn't realize Willa Cather was black. That's interesting. First black sculptor. Okay.
What's Creighton?
To dig into that a little bit more. Appreciate your comments on this particular subject here. This is something that, of course, is going to be ongoing with us. that would be interesting to see about that. You have to dig into the Second and Third Amendments and really I mean, I'm sorry, not amendments, but dig into the definitions of the second and third world definitions, see what they are, see what qualifies that, and check it out. But also, we can say that we I woke up. Okay, let me start from back. I woke up yesterday not feeling well at all, super sick, and kind of I think I got a sinus infection happening. Feeling real fluish, all that stuff. All I wanted to do was go get some allergy medicine and some orange juice and lay down somewhere. So I left my apartment. I walked across the street to Walgreens. I got my medicine. I got my juice. I came back to the house. It was hot outside. The air conditioner was running, and I had a moment of sitting there going, "Man, how convenient is my life? I can walk across the street, get the medication I need, get the nutrition and stuff I need. I mean, I don't know how much nutrition is in orange juice, but it felt like I needed it. And then come back here and just lay down and watch Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
I had one of them kind of appreciative, like how easy is my life moments. And and because it's real easy for me to go, oh man, I don't feel like walking across the street. I don't feel like
Hmm.
dealing with these
Hmm.
people
Hmm.
at the pharmacy. And it's dumb for me to like ever feel that way because it's my life is so convenient to be able to do that. And I think about I think the goal here in our country is to like have a life of that kind of at least that kind of convenience right there. Everybody don't have that. Everybody don't have it. And I have a I got a job. I also have this thing that I'm doing that's a passion of mine. So I'm feeling satisfied in my work life. But a lot of people don't have that. And there's been times in my life I didn't have it for
Hmm.
sure. So then just thinking about what I would how do I justify what is a right and what is you know what I'm saying. I'm like should I claim it as a right to be able to have the broadband that I have to lay here and watch Netflix? Should I claim it as a right to have that close of access to the medicine that I need? You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
I can go turn the faucet on. I mean, not that I would drink out of the faucet because the water situation here is not great. But if I had to, then I can turn the water on, drink out of the water fountain. I can take a shower. Um, it's an interesting question to me about what about, and I think it's almost like capitalism is the reason why it's a big weird question.
Mm. Mm.
If
How so?
if you were in a socialist country or in a communist country, you just get water and you just get electricity and you just get heat and stuff like that. You may not get broadband. I don't know. Maybe you do. Not really sure about other things, but I hear people always, moving towards that all the time. We were talking about the People's Party. I was just looking at the People's Party situation again a second ago, and one of the things that they think we need to have is Medicare for all. So there's parties, there's people in parties that think that Medicare, our health system should be free in this country.
Hmm.
And some people think it shouldn't. Some people think you're supposed to be able to pay for that. Like I said, it's almost just like capitalism is the reason why there's a thought about it at all. I don't know how to reconcile that because I've never lived in a country that wasn't a capitalist country. Have I? No, I
Think
think
about
they're
it.
all capitalist countries. Yeah. So, you know, so the question is like, what's the answer there? So I'm not really sure.
What is a right?
What is a right? And even though
Mm.
water's not a right, and air's not a right, and internet's not a right, and medicine is not a right, and orange juice is not a right, I'm still very
Well,
grateful for having the access to it the way that I have it right now.
I feel like water is definitely a right. Air is definitely a right. I mean, you need these things to live. You need water
You
to
need
live.
electricity to live. If you ain't got no heat in the wintertime,
Not necessarily.
you
But
need
I do get what you're
and
saying. It's all about quality of
and you need
life.
land to burn something on so that you can stay warm in the wintertime.
Right, 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 right. It's all about quality of life. And again, how much is government responsible for ensuring, what level of quality
Well,
of
like you
life?
always say, what is government for if not to ensure our quality of life?
Right.
Marianne,
Right. And but that's why I posed the question. That's why I posed the question. Is it a right?
yeah, Marianne Williams said Willa Cather is white. The artist is black. Okay,
Okay.
yeah. Marianne Williams says, should we have a right to grow our own food or fish for it? Gardens aren't allowed everywhere, and we have to get a license to fish. Right, and I remember being in California around the time that everybody had to fight to be able to capture rain
Mm-hmm.
and to use solar energy. So, you know what I'm saying? Capitalism also does stuff like that. Like companies will lobby against you being able to catch your own fish or capture the rain out of the sky and you have your
Yeah.
own water. You know what I'm saying? Also, Brother Valadares says healthcare should be socialized. All industrial nations are socialized medicines and they live longer. Healthcare is a right.
I agree.
Good question. I mean, so anyway, um, I think if I were to be a person running the government, I would want everybody to have all the things they need in order to live: air, water, food, housing,
Shelter.
huh?
Shelter. Yeah,
Shelter,
we said the
right?
same thing.
But then again, you know, how does that work? How does that work? How do you pay for that? What do you do for that? Taxes in some of these countries are like 45-50%. So
Man.
so it got to be paid for some kind of way, even if you have a different system. But it's interesting conversation to continue on. I saw a message from Justin Wayne. Brother Wayne said he's restarting the computer, so he's going to come back on in a second. But interesting conversation to continue to have. Brother Sanchez says those are rights, food and water. Brother Sanchez says shelter is not a right.
Hmm.
Um, so you're and again you're not this is not your advocation. You're just talking about what are rights in this country. Food and water are rights, and shelter is not a right. Shelter is something that is not, you don't just get because you have the right to have. You can get a gun, but not a house. So we're talking about rights. But anyway, Brother Valadares says when you get old, what happens? Humanity is needed in government. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like how like I feel like that too. Like I had a conversation with Pops the other day about Social Security and what that and how that's set up for when you get old, need to be and you can't work.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, so do you have rights to? Is that a right? Is that a right to be taken care of that way? Sarah Phelps in the chat says we don't really live in a capitalist economy, more a command economy with a touch of oligarchical and anti-market. That's it. Yeah, we can go off into that conversation for real. Uh, uh, we're not gonna go there right this minute because we got Brother Wayne in the wings now. So let's go ahead and then Brother Valadares puts the exclamation point on it. Taxes you pay either way. When it comes down to it, that's what it is. Ladies and
Man.
gentlemen, Brother Senator Justin Wayne in the house. Uh-oh, lost him. Yeah,
Oh, you had it set up. You had it set up and
nice
everything.
too, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that,
All
that
right.
was quite the
He's
introduction.
coming back. I think he's dealing with that broadband situation that we talked about.
See?
Can't wait.
So, man, I gotta ask him. We gotta get his
Hey,
perspective
there
on
he
it.
is.
What up?
There he is.
What up, man?
Man, I got this 20% of your computer is still, I don't know, I got an update going on. It's the way it
Oh,
is today. So
we appreciate you coming
Man.
on the phone, man. We were just talking about this broadband situation, and I was like, I remember talking to you last week. You was like, you about to call Cox and give him an earful because the one at your house is what it is. But we got that federal money coming in for that, and we're just sitting here talking about what to do with it and who.
we
Yeah.
got a lot of money. I'll tell you, most of it's going to go to Western Nebraska.
Mm.
You got Google coming in to Omaha. So
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be a big thing. Can y'all hear me okay? I can't,
Yeah,
Yep.
All
loud
right.
and
Loud
clear.
and clear, bro.
So
Loud and clear.
Google's coming in to Omaha. That'll be real good for us. They have a little lower subscription than Cox. So I've introduced bills every year to try to allow cities, especially in the rural community, and counties to take over or start their own broadband. I don't know if I was listening to y'all earlier as I was trying to set up this. I don't know if it's a right. I think when you start getting into rights versus privileges, it gets kind of
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely think it's a utility, and I look at it no differently than I look at water, electricity, um, and those basic needs. And the reason I say that is because without the internet right now, communities will suffer, and individuals will not especially with a lot of people going remote. You got kids who are having to take online classes. If we don't have some kind of connectivity, we are leaving people behind. And I think from that sense, it's no different than if somebody doesn't have electricity at their house. It makes their life that much harder.
Right.
Uh, but I do differ on healthcare. I was listening to you, like I said, healthcare. I do think there's a basic universal right to healthcare, and because we are in a society where you can go to the hospital, you can get things double, triple checked. Um, it shouldn't be dictated by an insurance company, and it shouldn't be dictated by profit.
Mm,
I think at the end of the day, if you're not feeling good and some things are not going well, in this day and age, we should be able to go somewhere, and that shouldn't be an issue.
agreed. Agreed. I definitely feel that way as myself. Tell us a little bit more about this. I know you have firsthand information on these funds that are supposed to be coming in from the feds. On it's what is this? It's called the high speed bill or internet bill or what's that all about?
Yeah, I don't have all the information. I got a lot of it just because I kind of dabbled in the broadband. But there's a whole bunch of different federal programs, and one, we as a state, we don't do a very good job of going after any federal dollars. That's part of the reason right now I'm in DC. I think McKinney is flying through Atlanta. I was supposed to be flying through New York, but with the fires, I'm hoping to get out of here by like 4 o'clock today, and hopefully I
Mm.
don't get stuck in New York with all the smoke because they had moved my flights around.
Yeah.
But we were
That's
out
so
here
tough.
today. I mean, this week there's an education conference, there's a entrepreneurship conference, but we came out a day early and spent a day on the hill, just using the contacts that we know. So we only went to the West Wing, had a great conversation with senior advisor Stephen Benjamin from the White House. And as a state, I guess what I'm saying is we don't access those federal funds like we do. No, other states do.
Mm,
Most states have a lobbyist or economic developer, economic person out here in DC learn about all these things, and we just don't. So we leave a lot of money on the table.
mm,
Why that's important for our listeners is most of those dollars go to Black, brown, and poor folks, especially underneath the Biden
Mhm.
administration.
mhm.
But we have a history in Nebraska of we don't want to take federal dollars because we don't like some of the strings, or politically we just don't want to do it. Last year, 2 years ago, I had a bill during COVID to require Governor Ricketts, then Governor Ricketts, to apply for the second round of rental assistance. We passed it, and then it got vetoed by him.
Mhm.
And this governor's taking a different approach when it comes to the rental assistance. He wants to go after it and make sure we're
Good.
doing some basics. But as a state, we just haven't done it. So the broadband, the only amount we're getting is part of Inflation Reduction Act and some broadband
Beeee.
dollars that they're pushing through the PCS. But I'll get some more information and make sure I shoot it out to y'all. But that's usually going to go to Western Nebraska right now, just because
Mhm.
we got a lot of places that don't still have dial-up modems, and some
Wow.
places don't have anything at all.
I didn't even know they still exist. The dial-up
Yeah,
modem.
right.
That's crazy. And yeah, places that don't exist at all. As a matter of fact, that you bringing me back to, I'm remembering about some efforts that Brother King did put together to make sure that the brothers and sisters out in the res were getting broadband and stuff like that. Whatever happened with that, and also doesn't the indigenous community also go after some dollars for broadband for themselves?
Yes, they do, and so he got a grant to help do that from the feds and through PCS. Best way to say it, it's just so much money out here. I,
Wow.
Mhm.
I can't even tell you all the sources. And so, like, one of the things we were out here talking about is this tech hub and Terrell's iHub that he passed, and just getting information. The Biden administration is going to put in is through the Economic Development Agency (EDA). They're going to do over $1 billion for the next 5 years, so $5 billion. I heard it's going to go up to 10 to put these regional tech hubs in across the United
Mm.
States,
Wow.
and we're in the best position because I told we met with Congressman Bacon and Congressman Flood. I said I don't know if it was divine intervention 2 years ago when Terrell came up with this idea. I don't know if he saw it in a bush somewhere and the fire was burning, but he wrote some legislation and it took a year to get it passed. That now the federal government looks like the federal government just took his legislation and said we should do this everywhere.
Wow.
And because
Mm.
we've already
Mm.
set 30 million plus another 90 million aside down by 16th Street, to be just blunt about it. Um, it looks like this Nebraska is in a perfect position to say the state's already putting in money. It's time for us to go after Fed dollars. And so we were out here meeting with folks to just make the connections and bring those connections back home to make sure we get it done.
Wow, that's quite the story right there, man. That's amazing, man. Well, so that was it. Yeah, my question was, I saw a picture of you guys shaking hands with Don Bacon. I was wondering about what that conversation was about. I think the headline had something to do with like the tech hub, and
Yep.
that's the area that you're talking about around 16th Street, or is that
Yep.
the airport? Okay, so
Airport. So we put in 531 and then 1024 last year, we put in 30 million for an iHub located within 2 miles of the airport. So 16th Street East. And then we also put in $90 million for a business park, which is 16th Street East. And the purpose of that is there's 65 acres down there, and there's another 200 acres down there that, if you look at other cities, they're revitalizing that area down by riverfronts, by lakes, and by airports. And the airport is putting in about 600 to 700 million over the next couple of years to redo the airport. So we want to build on those synergies and bring jobs and economic development to Black folks in North Omaha. And what's interesting is the conversation starts around, as an individual, you can go out and get a good paying job and change the trajectory of your family. But as a community, it's bigger than that. Income alone won't change the trajectory of a community. We got to build the wealth. And in order to build wealth, you only have two ways to do that. Actually, we got one way. Well, two ways. You can get it given to you by your grandpa, but we don't have a whole bunch of money by grandpa and grandmas. So the biggest way and the only way is through equity. And that equity comes in the form of housing. You own some property, or it comes in business, small business development, where you become a partner or you have some stock in a business that's starting and that grows. And so, housing for us, we put money, 40 million into housing. A lot of that has turned into apartments, and we disagree with that. We want to do single family homes, condos, where people can build equity. But the second phase is this tech hub entrepreneurship, where if you can start a business, grow your business, sell a business, or you can start a business and grow your business and keep equity in that business. Now we're talking about, as a community, we're changing the wealth gap. And so that's why this tech hub and this entrepreneurship lane is so important.
Yeah. I'm anxious to know what that's going to look like when that happens, and it looks like it's lined up to actually happen and get down. So I'm anxious to see what that looks like and how the surrounding area will be able to use it. Little nervous about other areas coming in and commandeering things, but if it's here for us, then I'd like to see how it's going to be used.
I mean, you look at H.J. Russell down in Atlanta. They got a little tech hub where they're doing entrepreneurship, and they're turning out businesses and startups, and that culture around their center, Russell Innovation Center, is changing the dynamics. And you got like Together Spot, I think is what it's called, down there. And you just gotta we trying to just create this culture of, you just don't have to go work for somebody. You can be your own ownership and have your own business.
I'm talking about the Gathering
Yeah,
Spot.
the Gathering Spot. So
yeah, the Gathering Spot is dope. It's close to the HBCUs down here. It's by the stadium, the where the Falcons play, but that's in the middle of a low income neighborhood. Like, you kind of look around, you see it. But yeah, the Gathering Spot is dope. A lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of young Black professionals gathered there.
So
go
ahead.
To your point though, like if you a young Black man, or forget the color and the gender, if you a young person who want to do entrepreneurship, where do you go in Omaha?
Right.
Well, and that goes to my question too. You now we'll have a place to go to work, but where do we go for the funding? And I'd like to ask that question connected to, have you done any work with from what I understand, the Carver Bank situation is a situation there where it's supposed to help young entrepreneurs start businesses and so on and so forth. Is there something like that other than the Carver Bank, and how much experience do you have?
So way Senator McKinney wrote this iHub is they'll be able to grant and do low interest rate loans, and do loan what they call them, forgivable loans. And so what that does is we set at least $5 million aside for that. We set aside $5 million for grants that'll run through that group. They just contracted out to a group out of Hastings because they want to do it statewide. But nevertheless, there will be dollars available. And Wednesday night we got out here and we met with the governor and his people because they were all coming out for the Willie Cather unveiling. So we had a great conversation with him about how we're going to get dollars out the door, make sure we set up the right people to get those dollars so they have some successes. But one of the things is getting businesses dollars. And so one of the conversations we had was about forgivable loans versus a grant. Now, people may say, well, I want a grant, I don't want a loan. Well, on your income statement, you want a loan. You get a grant, that's going to be considered as income in many situations. And most of us ain't taking out quarterly taxes, right? So if you don't take out quarterly taxes, at the end of the year, you're gonna get hit with a third. You're gonna have to pay for that third of your income tax. Well, if it's a forgivable loan, it's on your balance sheet differently, and you don't have to consider that as income. And then when it's forgiven, your tax bracket's not hit.
Wow. Okay. So first of all, just so I understand that this tech hub that is being built out here is not just a place that we can go work, but it'll also be a place where we can go for resources in order to be able to take out loans, forgivable loans, even grants and everything else, funding for your business in that area.
Right. So it's going to be a combination of partnerships. The way he wrote it, the way he wrote it was, I'm tired of everybody being in silos. So we're going to make y'all partner together. So you have to have a university, you have to have a bank or a CDFI, you have to have some other small business. And so he basically gave a list of things that have to be on the board and be involved. And for us, so it won't be like the iHub giving out the loan. It'll be his partner who is a CDFI or a bank that's their job. Like, hey, you are going to be in this building, and when people come in here, you're going to provide them with access to capital. That's just what you're going to do. And so actually we were down here meeting with the largest bank in Louisiana yesterday and figuring out how to not necessarily bring them to Omaha, but who can they partner with locally to be the back end office to what we're trying to do in Omaha. I still think we got to have a local flavor and grow our own, but I recognize that we may not have the skill set to get it done.
So what about Carver Bank? Would they be a candidate for to help in that direction?
They applied to be a part of. They applied through 1024 process. I don't think they got a very high rating. I got to go back and look. There's some ownership and some other things that I don't think are clear to the community, and so we got to flesh that out. But we just want to be transparent with everybody. So I mean, they're in the conversation. I ain't saying no.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about how close we are to having a black bank in North Omaha to be able to fund.
Well, there was a black bank that did apply. There are people who are talking about securing a bank, and that was part of the conversation with Louisiana yesterday. This bank from Louisiana, they're one of the largest black banks in the country. And if they could, if they could be on the board or be a minority owner and put up some capital, we were having those conversations.
Oh, was that bank founded by a sister?
Now you're gonna make technical difficulties. Justin done trips.
Oh, no.
We back. I'm safe. Don't worry. Life goes on. I'm looking for hold on.
You used to play ball. You recovered real fast on that.
Oh yeah, I got the card here somewhere. I don't know. It's called. Oh, well, I better not say your name. I don't know if it was founded by a sister, but it's currently ran by a sister.
Yeah, I just heard about a sister who's running like supposedly one of the largest black-owned banks in the country. So I was wondering if that was the same bank I just heard about. It just synchronicity.
Right.
Hey, Von Chapman in the chat says Silicon Valley and San Jose, California started years and created many minority millionaires. Please look west as an example. I've talked to him many times about how certain areas are able to do that.
Right, and one of the things, so you look at Austin, right? The story of Austin, Texas is kind of crazy. And you even look at South Dakota with Gateway. So Austin had Dell. Dell created 1,107 or something millionaires overnight.
Wow.
But it was a startup company. They've been working. And when you're a startup company, you ain't got the cash that you need. So you let people buy, employees get stocks, right? It's like, we got to keep you. We're going to give you some stock. So when they went public, they created over 1,000 millionaires overnight. Think about Gateway in South Dakota. You think South Dakota? Yeah, they created about 500 millionaires overnight when they went public before Dell. So, startups there's some risk to it, but if we're trying to build equity, at the end of the day, we gotta figure out how. That's the problem when you go on your phone, people call.
Oh,
People
Yeah,
start
that'll do
calling
it.
when you
That'll
on your
do it.
phone, and
well,
you got to
you
hit
got
that
me.
deny.
You got me excited about this hub, man. I think it's just I'm definitely seeing that. I've lived in several different places that had something similar. I haven't seen the one in Atlanta yet, but yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited for that.
Actually,
Mhm.
Paul, remember that video I was doing that shoot for Fox
Mhm.
O, and I sent you that video. That's where I was, the gathering
Oh,
expansion.
okay, yeah, that's what's
So
up,
the
man.
Russell Innovation Center, one of the things that Paul, I think me talked offline about before was, so they got this whole media, I'll call it media rooms, and it's where they teach people how to do podcasts, teach people marketing. So basically, if you are a business that start, anything from conceptual idea to going public, the Russell Innovation Center wants to be the people that help you get through there. But one of the things
Mm.
they do is I podcast and all that. And I was just like, man, it would be dope if there was a place we could always go to really do podcasts, to do community outreach that had all the updated technology, and just things that we could do. And right now, it's kind of like, this guy got something or this person has something, and we just don't have that place to go.
Yeah. We
Mhm.
definitely are looking at that for First Sky Omaha to venture into those things. Matter of fact, we got some stuff coming up where we're getting ready to spend a little time over there at the elevator space and do some training
Yeah.
for some journalists and for going in that direction. So the inevitability of us getting to a place where we need a space to do that is definitely exciting to me. Thinking that maybe First Sky Omaha can be over there in that tech hub and be a part of building out the black media. So interesting stuff, man. I'm very excited about seeing how that stuff works and how it's gonna connect to North Omaha, especially. Does South Omaha
Yeah.
have anything like that coming up? Anything as far as like
No, they don't. And I mean, part of our thing was there was a vision that McKinney and I had about just location, right? So
yeah,
there is a possible location over in South Omaha that we're getting them some dollars to do a study on and kind of push it out. This has been a 2.5 year process of Lamp Nearson did a study that was paid for by the state, the city, and the Chamber of Commerce about the business part, and then we participated in some iHub or some tech hub kind of training. I went out to Boston with the chamber and learned about how Cambridge did their entire innovation district.
Mm.
And so we've been, we went down to we went down to Atlanta, looked at Russell Institute, and so we've been kind of just traveling around this for 2.5 years. And now, we got the dollars. It's time to implement. And so that was the biggest thing when we were meeting with folks around here is they were just like, wait a minute, y'all got the dollars? Like usually black folks can't get the dollars and the
Man.
poor communities can't get the dollars. And I was like, no, we got the dollars now. We got to implement. Most communities have a lot of plans sitting on the shelf
right.
without funding, and we got the
Hmm.
funding, but we got to flush out the plan. So it's a good problem to have.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. Man, there's no shortage of talent either. So this is coming right in time, man. I'm just thinking of just as you were talking about. I thought about Paragon. If anyone's not familiar, it's actually a startup that was started by Ishmael Samuel, who is from North Omaha. They raised like $13 million, and again, this is a startup by a person from North Omaha. I do believe he left Omaha to start that company. But again, if we have those types of iHubs,
Mm.
it's not far fetched to think that millionaires can come out of North Omaha overnight. Like the ideas and the talent is there. We just need the resources. So thank you.
Yeah, man. I agree. I totally agree. Those of you just joining us right now, it's 8:14. If you believe in the concept of time, we're here with Brother Senator Justin Wayne. Looks like you're traveling. We didn't even ask you how you were before we jumped up,
Man,
man.
Man, being out here just yeah, it reminds me I just need to keep coming out here because it's a different perspective. You got a lot of folks that look like us in positions to do things, and it's always good when you can just call somebody and be like, "Here's what we're doing." They'd be like, "Come to the White House." Now that was my first time ever going to the West Wing. Like I've done the tours and all that, and so we walk in the wrong area, and we call the person and we like, "Hey, we over here." He's like, "You ain't supposed to be over there." And I'm looking at
mm.
McKinney and I'm like, headline, Nebraska senator shot by Secret Service. I'm like, well,
Oh man.
that might raise our profile, bro. We might be able to let's figure it out. So, McKinney posted a couple of pictures. He got one picture on his Facebook where we outside the West Wing because inside the West Wing, we quickly got let's just say we tried to take some pictures and they was like, ain't no pictures on this side in the West Wing. So
Right.
I didn't want my phone to be confiscated and thrown in the microwave, so I quickly deleted the picture in front of the person. So we wasn't going to allow that to happen. But yeah, it's
Right.
so I was a little kid yesterday looking around the West Wing, and I'm like, man, I'm in the West Wing. Like
That's a trip.
this is like real, real. And so,
Yeah.
but it was just crazy the synergy from the Biden administration and even on the Republican side, we met with some leadership and they're just like this could be a huge win for everybody. And the thing about
Mm,
Nebraska, and thing particularly about Omaha, is we're one of the most segregated cities in the country. Nobody can deny that. And because of that segregation and because of where we're at and our pockets of poverty, we can truly create a model for the rest of the country.
Hmm.
You go to Atlanta, you go to Chicago, you go to LA, you might drive another hour before you get back in the hood.
Hmm.
Well, we got it all right here. So it isn't like you got to take a shotgun approach. We can take a targeted approach, see what works and what doesn't work, and then say, hey, here goes the model. You take this kind of area, you do these kind of resources and put this in here. This can happen. So we were getting calls from MIT yesterday, Harvard. Actually, I leave here, I go meet with somebody from another foundation. It's just everybody started talking about like what the hell is going on in Nebraska. And
Hmm.
so like I told
mm.
McKinney yesterday, I said, we got a lot of pressure now, bro. Like I'd rather been shot by Secret Service. You know what I'm saying? Shot trying to help North Omaha. That sounds good. Failure didn't work
Man.
out. No, you know what I'm saying?
Man. No, you're on the right track, man. You're on the right track, and from what I'm hearing, you also not only are getting the resources, but getting the support, which is also a big win, as well.
Getting the
So
look,
definitely
man, getting the
excited.
attention is the is
Yeah,
important thing too, man. Really,
yeah.
really, we always talk about people going out, putting Omaha, putting Nebraska on the map, and this is definitely that. If you're out in DC, rubbing elbows and people are asking questions about what's going on here, then who better than y'all to be out there saying what's up, because you can tell them the whole story, which is
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate. That's what's up, man. What are you excited about, man? You said something that got me
Got
that
another phone call.
they trying to blowing you up.
What
Tell
you
me
about to say, brother?
tell me what you tell me. You when you got on the air this morning, you talked about we jumped you into to talking about some of these funds and things that are out there, and you said there's so much money out here. You kind of sparked my attention when you were like, "There's so much money out here. What is being done with all this money?"
Man,
And
that's just it. It's going everywhere else. Like that's just it.
Mm,
It's going everywhere else. And um, like even under Obama, he had a lot of programs, but Congress and them just didn't give him the dollars. And because of COVID and because of some other things and inflation, that for whatever reason, we as a country decided we're gonna push a lot of dollars out there.
mm,
But I mean, there's grants everywhere at the federal level. Now, navigating them is very hard, and that's kind of the conversation we were having yesterday. Is in Nebraska, we just never went after a lot of federal dollars for
mm,
whatever reason. Again, some of it's political, some of it's not. But and part of it is we just had a wealth of money, and we want to build a nice park that looked like the one in Tulsa on the riverfront. They said, all right, we're gonna raise 400 million to get it done. Some people went out to San Francisco and saw a luminarium and was like, hey, we need that in Omaha. All right, we just gonna go out and do it.
mm,
We got one of the best zoos in the world because we want to do it. We got some of the best art and music. I mean, hey, we need a smaller venue. Quest is no, CHI is too big. All right, let's build a steel house. I mean,
mm,
so the idea of having to go ask the federal government for money just I don't think it resonated with a lot of our city and state leadership because
mm,
philanthropic always took care of it. And so
mm,
now some of those dollars are peeling back, and some of those individuals are passing away. The younger generation or the board, because many of those younger generations don't live in Omaha, they don't have the same connection to Omaha. Uh, these foundations who are left to their board are saying, "Hey, Walter Scott, bless his heart, passed away." Well, when it's your foundation and you put money in, if somebody call you up and say, "Hey, I want to give 200 million to this project," Walter would go in the boardroom and say, "This is what we're going to do." Well, now that he passed away, that foundation has to follow their bylaws and what the vision was for Mr. Scott and his wife, and
try to
and
keep
that's a different conversation. You know what
right.
I'm saying? I mean,
Mhm,
it's a different process, and so
mhm.
everybody's trying to figure that out. But as a city and as a state, we've got more money and foundations than we ever have. So I just think the idea of leaning on government goes back to the conservative values of Nebraska, where just like we don't need to. But you
Mm,
also have to remember most of those federal programs are there to help poor and minority folks. And so,
Right, right.
call it what it is, what it is.
racism.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right, right. I mean, that's exactly my thought, man.
I mean,
Like
you just say call
what
it
you
what
just
it is.
laid out, there's a whole section of
I
community
said that
that's left out
yesterday
of
on
it.
this panel. There's an education forum out here that Senator McKinney and I participated on, and they were like, "It's a Democrat Republican issue." I said, "Nah, nah, nah. This is a black and white issue." Everybody looked at me, and I was like, "Hey, when it was drugs, it was lock them up. But then when it became the suburbs, got the drug problem, we need rehabilitation."
Mm,
I said,
Okay.
"You pick every issue that started off as black, it was we don't care. But when it hit white folks, now it's an issue." I said, "That ain't
Mhm.
Democrat Republican. That's black and white. Let's
straight
get it
up.
right."
Straight up.
Straight up.
Yeah, man. Man, appreciate you talking about it. Yeah, I think it's very interesting what you're talking about, buddy. You kind of hit things on the head when you were saying we need to look at what's going on with state money, federal money. Like you're right, everybody got a haircut when it came to nonprofits and the family foundations and so on and so forth. I mean, remember John Heaton even saying that.
Mhm.
Everything used to, and you hit it on the head. Everything used to be really they depended on philanthropic funds a lot. In this is a nonprofit town in a big way.
Man,
And now
man.
everybody's kind of getting a haircut on that. So now it's like, but then there's all this money that Biden made available. So
Mhm.
it's so much out there, and even us, man. I remember when we filled out our thing for the ARPA funds. I did it like I usually do for the Weiss Family Foundation. Like my application probably came across looking like I was a nonprofit asking for nonprofit dollars because that's what I saw. And you're right, man. To change the mind over to what we got to do is put this thing together like a business plan, and then we go after some of these state dollars or federal dollars or whatever, and then grow the business. Is somewhat a little bit of a different thought than what you're used to if you're working with like the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, like we were, which is a nonprofit which asks for dollars in a different way. So it's been an education for me and for us going in that direction. But Buddy's been saying it for like the last year, like there's some other dollars out there that needs to go towards black media and so on and so forth. It's not just philanthropic. It's not just on our backs. It's also what's important for the state, what's important for the city, and then lo and behold, we start working with y'all. Y'all start coming on and hipping us to all these things, the stuff that you're pushing in the legislature, and it's making more sense. It's coming back around for us. They blowing you up.
Y'all they be calling early in Omaha. Uh, but what was interesting is our conversation with the governor around tech and kind of what we're looking at and don't get me wrong, I knew Governor Ricketts before he was a governor, and every once in a while we would have some scotch and talk, and but Governor Pillen has made himself available. Now we don't agree on everything, but we out in D.C. His chief of staff is like, "Hey, where y'all at?" And I'm like, "Hey, we over here." He's like, "Hey, we got some free time. Let's go sit down." And so
Mm.
we went to this little bar and we just sat there and I'm trying to drink soda water in front of him because I ain't trying to throw back my vodkas and stuff. And so we just that was the cheapest it was ever been in the bar. But we just sat there and talked, right? Like informally. And we started talking about tech and he changed. And what it comes down to is changing the narrative of your company. You're not a media company. You are a tech company who happens to do media. And that
Mm,
sounds crazy, right?
Mm.
mm,
But what he said to me is he's like, I thought I was a pig farmer. I grew up doing pigs, is what I did. And he said right before COVID, we saw if you remember a whole bunch of industries in the beef and cattle and pig got shut down, the plants got all cyber attacked.
mm, mm.
And like Iowa shut down for weeks. I mean, it was huge, right? And
Yeah.
he was like, after I started seeing all this in the industry and the cattle and pork industry, internally we started having a big conversation. And he was like, now I look at myself and my company that I had. He said, I am a people and tech company who happens to raise pigs.
Mm.
Interesting,
And he
Man, I
said
I
that
already know. I already know how that's resounding with you, Paul. I already
bro.
know.
And he said and we were talking about cybersecurity and a lot of things. He said that's going to be the issue facing farmers and agriculture going forward. He was like, we got data on nitrates and water and how much it takes to grow. Like these farmers they out here testing soil and getting drones going over checking crops now and all this stuff. And he's like, what if China decides, all right, we're gonna hit the ag industry, a cyber attack, and we're gonna mess all their data up. So now you think your ground out there has not enough nitrate in it, and you go out and put fertilizer and kill all your crops, right? Like that's the kind of thing that we got to get ready for. And when you start having that conversation, now you understand why broadband is a utility. Now farmers are even understanding why they got to be able to have the access and the ability to upload their data in a safe way. You got to have companies, cloud management, cybersecurity. All that's happening right now in Nebraska. But where are our folks in this industry?
Wow.
How many folks are we at North and Burke and Benson saying you need to understand cybersecurity and what cloud-based management is? Because it's not going away. We got Google and Facebook around Omaha, but we ain't working there. Like it's those kind of things. And when the governor and Terrell and I were sitting there talking and we all connecting about, he's like, man, let's do it. And I'm like, okay, now we on. So we left there and then had a meeting with the leadership of the university. And they're saying, okay, how do we make this work? How do we make it work? Because everybody understands it, but nobody has put the puzzle together to say, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Bro, you blowing my mind. That's incredible. Brother Terrell McKinney has just joined us. We're going to pop him in as well. Hey,
Where you at, bro?
I'm sitting in an airplane in Atlanta.
They let you call from the plane?
We sitting on the tarmac.
Sitting on the tarmac right now. Okay.
Oh, that's what they saw. They saw you at the White House. They're like, let that brother call.
He's important.
He was at the West Wing. He wasn't supposed to be in that area, but he was there. Hey, bro, it's good. I appreciate you coming on, man. I love to see you out there moving and shaking and doing things, man. How's your trip going?
It's been good, man. It's been good. I was good to take a nap on this flight here, but it was great.
Man, get some rest.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Are you flying Southwest? So you just on the same plane?
Yeah.
That's why they ain't letting you off. They can't trust you. Gonna get back on.
Where you heading? You coming or going?
Omaha.
You back to coming and going? Okay. So cool, man. So you've been telling me a little bit about your trip, man. What's your perspective? I'm excited about you guys being at the White House too, man. How was your experience?
That was dope. That was dope. That was different. It was like, damn, there was some dudes from North Omaha in the White House. So that was different. That was good though. It was a good experience, and I think the biggest thing was like, wow, like people in the White House finally, are seeing what we're doing. We're trying to do in North Omaha to try to change, the future of our community, and that's the biggest thing. Like we've been trying to get people to understand. It's like what we trying to do is bigger than me and Justin. It's for our community. And I know a lot of people, have a lot of questions all the time and things like that. And maybe we haven't been as clear as we probably can be, but it's a lot of work that goes into it. And we've just been pounding the pavement with our heads down, just trying to get the dollars passed, get these bills passed, and just working. And, to get there and be able to, get to the White House and have the discussions kind of like, wow, we, sat down with a plan and, we put a plan together and made it to the White House. That's crazy.
Man. I love that, bro. And you feeling like you feeling like people are listening. You got good response as far as communication with people there. Then you feeling good about the conversations you had.
Yeah, it was some great conversations. Now it's more pressure, to see it all through. We were sitting down, everybody else having fun. Me and Justin sit down at a table on a laptop trying to working last night.
Yeah.
The work don't stop.
Well, if I trust anybody to handle the pressure, it's y'all too. So
Oh yeah,
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
unexpected
man.
dining.
I'm telling you what, man. Terrell, all them pictures in the West Wing, man. They might FBI might be confiscating the phone before we get off this interview. Terrell is, man. I tell you,
That's the real reason.
don't take him anywhere.
That's the real reason why they're holding the plane up. They're like,
Yeah, yeah. He looking
Nah,
around.
nah.
nah,
I only got one.
that's all good. I'm like you, brother McKinney. I'd be up there snapping. I'd be up there killing the game. They'd have definitely put my phone in the microwave because I'd have been taking all
Yeah,
kinds of photos. Uh,
man. Was that your first time at the White House?
Yep.
that's what's up.
Man,
That's what's up. I
congrats,
love it. I
congrats.
love it. Well, appreciate you coming on, man. I know it's a little late in the game here, but appreciate you coming on. We've been talking a little bit about the fact that there's just so much money out here, and the success you guys been having with talking to, especially the Republicans, man, and the governor, especially how available he's been. It feels good. It feels real positive. It feels like we can we can get in there and that these conversations that are being had are actually you getting somewhere with them. And on top of that, we're in a position that we haven't been before, which is that there's money. That
Right.
there's actually money. Before there's in some places there's plans. I'm shuffling the deck here. Hold on. There's plans, but no money. And this time there's money, and now we got to get the plan straight. And you guys it seems like you guys are working on that constantly. Marianne Williamson says she's proud of y'all, so that's what's up. And we feel the same way.
Yeah, it looked like we just lost Terrell.
Yeah, man. They
Man,
probably
that's
Let's see
how
something.
important y'all are. We're gonna figure out how to make it work wherever we are.
Man, no, we appreciate y'all. We
Nah,
definitely do
and like I
appreciate y'all.
told y'all before, y'all been the only consistent. I say allies, y'all, and this is kind of like a way for us to debrief. Because we always, I mean, I think it's been two times we had like the sad moments, but we've
Hmm.
we've always had a little, little fun, laughed a little bit. Because for real, everybody last night was around us at the hotel, and we was on the laptop going through stuff, and people was like, "Oh, we can't bother them; they working." And we like, actually, we wanted reasons to stop working, so come over and buy us a drink, like for real.
Please give me a break. Give me a break.
That's all. That's what's
No,
up, man. What's
man, we do appreciate y'all.
I'm sorry.
I did want to ask Terrell before your plane takes off or before we lose you again. Senator Wayne was telling us a little bit about the iHub, and I know that was kind of your brainchild. So I'm, now that you have the support, now that you have the plan, what are you excited about the iHub, and can you actually give us a timeline?
As far as timeline, I mean that's gonna be a process. But
Mm,
what I'm excited about is just the fact that eventually we'll have a space in North Omaha where business owners and our kids can finally have a space where if you really have a business and a business idea, you can go somewhere and see it through and actually, get the support that you need and the hope that you need. Because honestly, when you open a business in North Omaha, it's like, man, I'm opening it, but I really don't know if this gonna work
mm-hmm.
necessarily. I really don't know if I'm gonna get the support that I'm gonna get,
Right.
but I'm gonna try it because it's a good idea, but I really don't know how to run a business. People might or might not come. They gonna come the first week, but is they gonna come here towards the end of the year? And we see it all the time. Somebody open a business and it's booming the first month or so, but by Christmas it's like, dang, another one bites the
It's
dust.
true.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
true.
It, and hopefully with the iHub, we can start to see more businesses in the community survive and have more sustainability. Because what's sad is we're seeing like businesses like Time Out go out.
Hmm.
Man,
Like who's gonna buy Time Out?
Yeah.
Nobody. That's been a staple.
man.
It's so true, bro. So many things, especially out there, is closed up. Yeah, man. I'm very excited about this. I think the future for us is really kind of like helping back whatever's going on in that area because that tech hub, brother Wayne said that you got it from. We don't know where you came up with this idea before it all went down, bro. Like Tupac came down in the burning bush and you saw it in the vision, and I don't, what I'm saying, and whatever you did, but he hipped us to the fact that a lot of these cats are coming down and saying, taking your plan and saying this plan can work in different areas too. So I mean, once again, it's like Omaha pioneering something that may be something that can help Black folks everywhere, not just in the
Man,
North Side. So appreciate the work that you do,
Yeah,
man. The vision that you have for real. on this stuff. I appreciate the fact that you working with Brother Wayne, and Brother Wayne can navigate you through the legislature. I mean, it's a really beautiful setup. It's a really beautiful setup to get something done. So just really proud of y'all on that, man, for real.
All right, man, and thank you, and I appreciate y'all for letting us come on and have these conversations.
Bro,
Oh man, we need them.
anytime,
We
man.
need them.
We need you.
Yeah. But
Okay.
safe travels.
Yeah, man. Safe travels. We're gonna let you
Thank you.
guys get going, man. You got a lot going on, but I appreciate you guys taking the time to come on, even when traveling. You guys show up here, so I really appreciate that very much.
No problem.
All
So
right, man.
y'all gonna be called first Sky Tech? Is that what y'all change? I mean, you.
Bro, look, you don't even know. Like I've been selling all around town for the past 3 or 4 years. That really what it is that you're a media company that happens to blah 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 and blah blah blah. So the fact that you just said you just changed the game on that for me. We're not actually a media company. We're actually a tech company that happens to do media. I got some things to work out on
Man,
paper for the next couple of days now.
man. No, you just blew our minds and
You blew
changed the
our
game
minds with
for us in
that,
a
bro.
real way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's up,
Well,
man.
I appreciate y'all, man, and we still got to get a drink, Paul. You be dodging me, man. I don't be under.
I want parts of that, man. I'll be there in a couple weeks.
Hey,
All right,
man.
let's make it happen. Y'all be
Hit me up,
safe,
man.
y'all.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right,
All
brothers.
right.
All right.
Peace.
Peace. There you go, man. Brothers, Senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne. Put some respect on their names. Always a pleasure to talk to them and learn so much and everything all the time, every time, man. So
Yeah.
get our mind blown just about every Friday. It seems like.
A little bit.
It's 8:36 in Omaha, Nebraska. If you believe in the concept of time, we're going to take a quick break and we'll come back and jump into a couple more things. Before we get to the extensive haps that we're going to have today, we're going to spend a little time on the haps because there's a lot going on this today and this weekend. And so get your haps together and ready to let us know about things that are going on that we might have missed talking about it. And we will definitely get into that when we get back. So stay tuned. Once again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah, Paul Beeee, the Dove, Buddi3 Da Gawd, chat chambers, those listeners, radio listeners. Stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. 7:30. I'm sorry, 8:38 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, thanks for everybody that's joined in on the chat. You guys are really killing the game. Von Chapman says home equity and generational wealth for minorities in North and South Omaha is usurped by housing plans that look like investment prospectus for the philanthropic community, and exactly why there is no money in the community. That needs to change for those communities to grow and sustain. I very much appreciate that comment. And also a little earlier on, Amy H. in the chat said I was at the Omaha Planning Department meeting yesterday, and there was even more apartments coming. She says Eric Ungland, assistant director of planning, said that an apartment is the new starter home. Say what? What'd you say, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. We talk about home ownership and more apartments. You can't own an apartment building. It's a lot harder to own an apartment building, or,
Yeah, 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 man. I don't know. Um, okay. Anyway, yeah, that's the planning department doesn't seem to mind all these apartment complexes popping up everywhere. There seems to be a lot of approval for those. I don't, and really, I don't know what that means. That's the new. That doesn't make any sense. Like we don't have any ownership here with the apartment buildings. I don't understand where he's coming from with that one. But like she said, there's more coming because of that. That's the idea, I suppose. That's the mentality there. So yeah, Eric is full of it. Okay, brother Chapman. I mean, yeah, there you go. There you go. Tonight, Patterson in the chat says you can't own a home when Republicans go full blown war on wages.
Mm.
Got to have a job enough to be able to do that as well. Amy H. Dot says Ungland didn't say it like he backed the idea, but was speaking to the reality of things now. Okay.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that clarification there, because I was already writing his name down on the list. Valdez says you can't own an apartment. Right. Right. Yeah, it's exactly right. How can you have ownership in these areas if you were just building apartments for everybody to live in?
Yeah, I mean,
Not enough.
yeah, there's condos, but those are usually a lot more expensive.
Very true. Anyway, yeah. So the interesting stuff. I'm glad. Thank you, Amy H. Dot, for going down to that meeting there. Was that a documenters thing that you did there? Was that for documenters that you went?
Good question. She
I've
did
been
mention
wondering.
she was doing that.
Yeah, I've been wondering if somebody's going to go down there and really pay attention to what the planning department's all about too. Now, it used to be Manny About Town used to work at the planning department, so we used to get a lot of information when he was there. But now that he's not there anymore, there's been a gap. So if that's being covered by you over through documenters, I appreciate that very much. That's going to be definitely in the future conversations. Planning department has a lot to do with what's going on with land bank, with just everything. There's just housing in general.
Right.
We'll see.
Tanara Patterson also reminding us apartments start at 1,400 and up too, man. Yeah, for a studio. Yeah, that part.
That much? Yeah.
Right. But moving along, man, we got about just about 15 minutes, and Paul did mention we do have an extensive haps. So maybe a little lightning round.
Yeah, let's do a little.
Let's go ahead and try to power through these last stories. And actually, we're going to be pivoting to national news. There's a few national stories that we want to talk about, especially ahead of the 2024 elections. Looking at this court case coming out of Alabama, which could have wide-reaching effects. Alabama lawmakers have to redraw their congressional districts after a significant U.S. Supreme Court ruling that could affect political maps again across the South for years to come. This is a fight that has actually been raging on for over a year when racial gerrymandering was called upon in Alabama again after their redistricting efforts. Alabama, of course, now finishing their racial showdown, and again, very, very close decision. So it could have went either way, but a 5-4 decision sent the justices, to uphold a key section of the Voting Rights Act, as they found that a congressional map drawn by Alabama's, of course, Republican-controlled legislature after the 2020 census diluted the power of black voters in a state where 1 in 4 residents were black. And I can't help but to think about the attacks and the pressure that the blue dot was under here in Nebraska. So I'm going to just throw that in there. The point of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act emphasizes that you cannot dilute political voting power, according to Jaton Bosby Gilchrist, who's executive director of the ACLU of Alabama. She went on to say, and that's exactly what was done, dilution of black political voting power in the state. Joe Reed, chairman of the Alabama Democratic Conference, was also happy about the ruling, which gives black Democrats a chance at a second congressional seat in the state. Reed spoke while sitting in front of a large congressional map, saying if we get 2 majority black districts, in all probability we get a second black congressman, and in all probability, if we have anything to say about it, we're going to try to make it a Democratic congressman. So again, we just got off the air with 2 of our senators, and we're looking at districting and redistricting, and again how the blue dot, which I believe Senator McKinney represents, was under scrutiny and we essentially could not have, Senator McKinney, and it will just be Senator Wayne in there by himself. So you can see how big of a difference just even one, minority representative, in the state's capital, goes a long way. Goes a very long way. So big shout out to, again, those who fought for that win in Alabama and possibly other states.
Chrissy Norris says Nebraska did the same thing. So this is why it's a correlation with what's going on here. Dilution of brown black wealth and vote, says Brother Valadares. There's a lot of implications here on this subject. So that's why we're kind of paying attention to it and seeing what's going on in Alabama. Maybe that can be something that we use to fight here to make sure that the power is not getting diluted. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah. And again, this is all based on a Supreme Court ruling. So hopefully precedent was set. But moving forward, speaking of presidents, in a different way, looking at President Biden, who is in the middle of a fight of his own, looking at the student debt relief plan and trying to push that through. Of course, Republican leaders in both DC and across the state have stuck their feet in the ground, man, 10 toes down in opposition of this plan. But it looks like Biden has vetoed this GOP-led effort to kill his plan again. What we reported last week, and that there was a vote to stop the plan, and that's not to mention the court cases that are still looming as far as Republican-led states suing the Biden administration for this plan. But again, on Wednesday, President Biden swiftly vetoed a Republican-led legislation that would have repealed his plan to cancel up to $20,000 in student debt for tens of millions of Americans. GOP lawmakers, of course, with the help of some moderate Democrats, actually passed the resolution to nullify Biden's plan, criticizing the plan as too costly for taxpayers and unfair for Americans who didn't attend college. There's also been some claims of those who had to pay their student loans back, saying that that's not fair to them either. But again, going back to what Senator Wayne said, this can largely be seen as a black-white issue, as a vast majority of borrowers and those who are who owe on student loans are African Americans.
Yeah. So Biden pushing back a little bit on that with the vetoes. Interesting turn of events there. We'll see. It's still up in the air. They still haven't paid they still haven't paid mine off. So we'll see.
Right, that part I still owe as well. So we'll definitely continue to look at that. Again, there's two fights being front. We have to look at what happens if this veto stands, if that's repealed, what happens with that. But again, also the Republican-led lawsuits from the states, including Nebraska, put that out there, that's going against that plan as well. So a lot of things going against it, but hopefully triumphant. We'll see. But moving along. Also, speaking of Biden, earlier this month, there was the scare of a possible delinquency or default on the United States debt, and there has been an agreement between Republicans and Democrats in the Biden administration to raise up the debt ceiling. So there is a pushback, kind of kicking of the can down the road. There's a lot of question about what will happen if the United States does go into default for the first time, but looks like we dodged the bullet on that one. So, and there is an update on that. And then finally, we haven't really got to get into it, but Cornel West is announcing that he will run for U.S. presidency under the People's Party, which again is a deviation from the Democratic Republican two-party system that we've all been questioning throughout this season and really throughout the years. Yeah, not really too sure what to make of this. Tell me this, Paul. What do you think about his chances? Let's just start there. What do you think about this announcement from Cornel West, and what does it mean?
I don't think he has any chances for winning, of course, but I do like the fact that he's bringing this attention to the People's Party, because I wasn't even aware of that party or looking at that party at all. And just to show you a couple of things that's going on with the People's Party, this is their website here, and this is the stuff that they stand for. They've got a pretty clear Medicare for all, revitalize our economy, create true democracy in the wars. They're really big on that situation there. Expand civil liberties, protect the environment. These are kind of their core tenets in that particular party. And we are always on this show talking about what can happen if there was not just a two-party system going on. I'm always like, please bring the Black Panther Party back all the time. I'm talking about, of course, we know there's a Green Party out there that even though they haven't made any real traction in actual government, I'm sure was a big influence on the fact that almost half the country now is legalized. So there's people with other agendas out there, parties with other agendas out there. Of course, there's the Independent Party, that's the third biggest, and Libertarian Party. So here's the People's Party, and this was created by an aide of Bernie Sanders at one point. This party was created by a Bernie Sanders aide, and now here we are. Dr. Cornel West, put some respect on his name, is going to be running for president under the People's Party. So at the very least, he's making us see what the People Party is about, which is really interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I did want to read his announcement, the caption that came along with this video on Twitter. He says, "I am running for truth and justice as a presidential candidate for the People's Party to reintroduce America to the best of itself, fighting to end poverty, mass incarceration, ending wars and ecological collapse, guaranteeing housing, healthcare, education, and living wages for all. Join the movement at CornelWest24.com. So again, if you are interested in joining that, you can check it out, CornelWest24.com. But I'm kind of there with you tonight, Patterson. She says a -0 chance. -0.
Negative.
man, yeah, I definitely think this is more performative, I guess you could say. I don't know. I don't want to say that Cornel West is going into this knowing he's going to lose, but we all know it's not a good chance. But definitely kind of reminding, I'm taking away from that announcement again to show America, to remind America of the best of itself. So,
look, bro, I'm looking at it like this. It's going to be Biden or Trump or DeSantis or Cornel West.
when you put it like that,
I might be voting for Cornel West. We'll see.
Man, when you put it like that. But that does it for the today's stories. I guess we do have. Could this be a hat? Maybe a Hall of Famer, Gale Sayers.
Yeah. Let's speak on that for sure.
Yeah, expected to be honored with the Omaha street sign. So
Gale Sayers is getting a street sign, y'all, and I found out that is a relative of mine as well. So the legendary Gale Sayers. And I'm not into sports much, so I can't read off his stats for you and everything. But he's a legend. That's all I do know. And he's getting a street sign, and getting some recognition. So that's what's up. Appreciate Omaha for doing that. Buddy was like, "Boy, they're handing out these street signs for real." Anybody who is somebody gets a street sign these days.
Putting them out like hotcakes.
I really feel like brother Willie Hamilton is behind a lot of that, man. I know that he's definitely pushed for street signs and for recognition for other black leaders in the past. So maybe the way that it's working out now is because of some of his influence. So shout out to him for doing the work. It is 8:52 right now. If you believe in the concept of time for the haps, y'all.
Hey.
What's the haps? What's happening? What's going down?
Hey, it's like a jungle sometimes. Maybe I wonder how I'm going under. Time for the haps. It's time for us to talk about some things that's going on this week and this weekend, and also for you to let us know about some things that we have left out. That's very important to go on. We'll definitely check it out. So we'll jump right into some haps first and foremost. Don't go to New York. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see here. Omaha Summer Arts Festival coming up. As you can see, they got plenty of sponsorship here to make this happen. But that's because it's the 49th annual Omaha Summer Arts Festival. Our partners over at OEAs are really behind some of the push on this one. So definitely go check it out. I did see some some people in the chat that said they will be there. You can go check that out and see what's happening. So go check out the Omaha Summer Arts Festival. You will see a lot of performers that you did not know existed here in Omaha. Songwriters and musicians and a lot of talent in Omaha. All that talent that we talked about in Omaha is happening. So check it out from June 9th to 11th. Sometime during the weekend, maybe slide by, see what's happening. So definitely check that out. Of course, you know that we are definitely pushing this one right here, June 17th. Put it on your calendar. The Juneteenth Joy Fest is going down. 24th and Ohio Street in Omaha. JuneteenthJoyFest.com. Get your tickets. There's going to be music, poetry, dance. There's all kinds of stuff going on at this thing here, and it's a Juneteenth celebration by some of the young folks centered around that are in and around Fabric Lab and the places that that they frequent around there. Also, Culture House. So the spirit of this one is going to be real fun, real youthful, real celebratory, and I can't wait to go check it out. So definitely check out the Juneteenth Joy Fest, Saturday, June 17th from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's gonna be all day.
Man.
24th and Ohio streets. I'm sure there's gonna be food and all kinds of other stuff out there. So definitely go check that out for sure. I wanted to bring this one up here because we don't do a whole lot of the haps when it comes to certain things that go on in the black neighborhoods, especially like this one right here, the Backstreet Lounge reunion. I don't know if you guys are remember the Backstreet Lounge from back in the day, but they're bringing some of the folks back, man. To go check this out. There's gonna be music, all kinds of stuff going on there. June the 10th. It's happening from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Live music by Chocolate City Soul Sessions.
Okay.
Nate Bray and the Soul Supreme Band. Nate Bray is a cousin of mine, too. And the Soul Supreme Band. DJ Crazy One, plus a delicious food truck by Taste of Heaven Food Enterprises. So, yeah, definitely go check some of these things out, too, man. Meet some of these cats that's been in the game for a long, long time. Want to give the North Omaha events special praise as well. So definitely check them out. Put that on your calendar for the June the 10th. Slide by there, man. Get some good food. Hear some good music. Backstreet Lounge reunion at the Strut. We don't do enough with the Strut. The Strut is holding some things down right now, especially when it comes to music and comedy and everything else. It's a very, very cool space, and we don't give them enough props. So I'm like, as soon as I found some, I was like, great. We can talk about the Strut now. So
Nice.
get down to the Strut if you haven't been there yet. Speaking of things going on in the black neighborhoods, the Omaha Freedom Festival is also happening, coming up on the 17th. Mark your calendars. This is the concert that night. Music Soul Child, Life Jennings, Angeline Timeless. And this will be at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. They call it the Malcolm X Memorial Outside Plaza now, so that you can go out there and go check that out. And of course, during the daytime, there'll be some things for the kids. That's the one I'm looking for. Celebration of Juneteenth, arts and crafts, carnival games, family fun, free food, free for all ages from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. So that's during the day. You go check out the Omaha Freedom Festival of the Malcolm I can't say it now. Malcolm Outside. It's a mouthful. Malcolm X Outside. That's the problem there. The X and the out. Malcolm X Outside Event Plaza. Definitely check that out during the day, and then, like we said, drop the kids off grandma's house, and then come on and check out Life Jennings and Music Soul Child and them. So it'll be a strong day over there at the Malcolm X Center. And definitely get your tickets. Go to OmahaFreedomFestival.com and hang with them and check that out. Should be a really, really interesting deal. So also what's coming up, celebration of fatherhood.
Yeah, man.
6th annual Father's Day Festival. This is on June 18th, which is Father's Day. Mark your calendars for that. Go to ticketomaha.com because it's going to be at the Orpheum Theater. Special guest, man, featuring In Vogue, Melissa Morgan. I mean, come on. I really want to go see In Vogue. I think that I remember them putting on a really, really extensive show back in the day. And I'm wondering if they still do that. But they used to put on a real proper pop show. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Light sounds, super professional. And of course, the nostalgia of all the old hits. Definitely check out In Vogue at the celebration of fatherhood. 6th annual Father's Day Festival. Shout out to William King for putting that on. Shout out to DJ Reggie C for representing over there. And also comedian Joshua L. Stupo's my favorite comedian in Omaha. Definitely check them out, man. Orpheum Theater, ticketomaha.com. Get your tickets for that. Lots of big things happening right now, man. And then, of course, today. That's Friday, June 9th. You're not there right now, but it's supposed to be going on. I don't know if you're gonna plan on going a little bit later, but definitely check this out because Magic Johnson will be there. This is the Empowerment Network's 16th annual Rebuilding the Village Conference. So it's a conference going on today, and brother Magic Johnson will be there speaking in Omaha as well. So if you tickets to go to that, let us know. Put it in Friends of First Sky Omaha. Put it in the chat. Let us know if you got tickets to go see this. He'll be the luncheon keynote, so he'll be speaking around lunchtime, and definitely check that out. But yeah, let us know if you planned on being there. That's the CHI Health Center Omaha, again, Empowerment Network, putting this together. The 16th annual Rebuilding the Village Conference. It's the second or third time I believe that Brother Magic Johnson's been in town, speaking on it, and he's definitely a person worth listening to when it comes to economic development in a big way. So
knows what he's talking about.
Looks like Marianne Williams posted Senator McKinney just announced District 11 Town Hall July 25th, 6 to 8 at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation.
Okay.
The Malcolm X Center. That's what's up. I don't have a flyer for that, but he said he just announced that. Posted on Friends of First Sky Omaha. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Appreciate
Nice,
that very
nice.
much. Let's see. Let's see, Miss Erica Felt has come on and says I've missed most of the week due to having the cooties. Hope you feel better. She says please be mindful to wash your hands and be careful indoors with people sneezing and coughing. Yeah, that's what I'm on right now. It hit hard. Drink water and be good to yourselves. I
Yeah,
definitely got hit with that myself yesterday. So yeah, I just try to just drug up and stay in and try to get that together there so I don't give it to nobody else. Von Chapman says Gale Sayers, like many others, deserve more than a street sign for sure. He
yeah.
needs a sports building, sports center. So he's that kind of legend. I love that. Really appreciate that. Von Chapman said, I hope it's not raining bullets for Magic Johnson. That would be embarrassing. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I want to see how many people showed up to that and came through for that because that'd
Yeah.
be interesting to talk to anybody who went. I already did that one real quick. Also, got to mention respect. So,
Hmm.
the Playhouse man is doing this play. It's June 9th, so it's actually tonight. But it runs through June 25th. The women, their music, their stories. It's going to be very interesting. It's the acknowledgement of various influential female recording artists for their valuable contributions to the music industry. Respect is a journey that spans the 1960s to 1980s music era, honoring some of the most iconic women of our time. Together, we will travel deeper into their stories and how their dedication and sacrifice paved the way for many who followed in their footsteps and will continue to empower for many years to come. So,
Nice.
yeah, it sounds very interesting. And some very talented individuals that are going to be here doing this. So it runs for a little while. So if you don't get to go see it tonight, per se, then it runs through. Let me see, I just lost it here. It runs through the 25th of June. So starts tonight, runs through the 25th of June. Definitely check them out. Omaha Community Playhouse. Respect the women, their music, and their stories. I can't wait to check that out. Be honest.
Nice, nice. Really
Also,
quickly, uh,
go ahead.
just saw in the chat, Mirror 402, Ariel's 402 says, Danny Reyes has an art opening gallery tonight off of 70th and Maple. Danny Reyes is a dope
Yep,
local artist.
I love
Definitely
this.
go check him out,
Danny Reyes. Thanks for that, man. Man, if you got a flyer for that, put that in Friends of First Sky Omaha. I
please.
appreciate that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's super dope. Also, our partners over at House of Afro Capes and Curls, the Juneteenth Steampunk Tea Party is happening June 10th, which is tomorrow from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. So once again, something going on tomorrow. Tickets at Afros Capes and Curls, Afros Capes Curls.com. That's the website there. You can get tickets there, but definitely check that out. You don't have to dress up if you don't want to, but if you want to, cool. You might end up in the book because they do have books coming out with really nice photos of people in the North Omaha dressing up like steampunk. It's pretty dope. Juneteenth Steampunk Tea Party happening June the 10th, 2023, from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. over at what they call Nona now. Mama call them Loves Jazz. I'm calling Loves Jazz. Loves Jazz over there on 20th, 24th and Lake. That's where it's going down tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So definitely check that out. 9:02 already. I'm running late, man. I was trying to get it done fast. Anybody else in the
Ah,
chat got something? Let's see. Midwest Chicano and Foos is the page for his information. What?
okay.
Look, you know I'm gonna be on that page. I'm gonna be on that page. That's what's up.
Hey, that's what's up, fool.
Love and Foos. Man, it's going down. Buddy, any other haps that you can think of that we need to?
Um,
Feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh,
I
oh,
do,
oh,
I
oh.
do too, but nothing. Oh, okay,
Vivian
yeah,
Strong.
yeah.
Street naming for Vivian Strong happening June 16th. We still got another week to promote this, but June 16th is going down at 3 p.m. on 21st and Clark, and then the historical marker ceremony. Mark your calendars for July 28th at 11:30. A couple things happening there for Vivian Strong, so definitely support that. Brother Sherman Wells in the
Shout out.
house putting those things together, man. Shout out for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. But yeah, I can't really think of anything else. But let's get out of here, man. Big shout out to, of course, the senators Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney for taking time out of their travel schedule to speak with us and let us know what's going on. Definitely appreciate and I love those brothers. Also, big shout out to all of you, the chat chimers, man, for sticking with us again in the middle of year 3, quickly approaching the end of season 5. So we appreciate y'all. We love you. We thank you. Looking forward to more growth, more life. But in the meantime, in between time, man, take care of each other. Reminder, I will be there coming up in a couple weeks. So, let's get together, live alive together for a little bit.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Chad Chimer kickback dates coming soon. Thanks for everybody that's here, man, for sure. Marianne Williams says early in the chat says, just have to say that this show is transformative. If it's not now, it can be anyway. Thanks to you and all the guests that are working so hard for real change. Really appreciate you saying that and acknowledging that. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're really trying to make something happen for sure. Appreciate it so much. Pop says, wonderful show and another great week. Have a nice weekend, everybody, and see you all on Monday. Appreciate you, Pops. Ariel's 402 says, have a blessed weekend, everyone. That's what's up. He said, the higher the socks, the downer the food. I'm about to go put my hot socks on right now, bro. I was just looking at that. I put it on my Amazon list. I was like, I need another pack of high white socks.
Man,
I'm a down fool for sure. Man, appreciate everybody that's there. Oh, Miss Erica Feld is giving us a thank you, and thank you for you too. And I wanted to put that back up too. I'm sorry I'm running late, but she is taking kids again over at the Play School House. Definitely help our sister out over there. If you have any kids, she says, I have openings for summer fun and this fall for morning preschool and all day preschool enriched childcare, welcoming children 2 years and older. Check her out at Miss ericasplayschool.com. Miss, and she spells Erica ERIKAS, playschool.com. Definitely check her out over there. If you got kids, if you can refer kids, her business is back open and running, and we want to definitely support her for sure. And really appreciate her for being such a cool chat chimer and on all that. Yeah, healthy kids. Don't send no little cool kids over there.
Snotty nose.
Don't send no snot nose over there.
Yeah,
Nah, it is. Appreciate everybody. Christy North says Pride on the Block in CB on Sunday. Okay.
And also in Lincoln. So, you know.
Oh, okay. That's what's up. So
Yeah,
Pride Parades. Yeah, it is Pride Month too, isn't it? Yeah,
yes,
for
it
sure.
is. It is.
Yeah, that's what's up. Okay, so
Emphasis on happy.
that's interesting. We don't have a lot of stuff in the haps about Pride, so I appreciate you putting that in there, Miss Christy Knorr. Because there is going to be parades and stuff like that going on. So, yeah, stay safe out there, y'all, and take care of yourselves. And we'll definitely see you. Anything else that you can think of that we need to be checking out? And if you're there at any of these events and you take pictures or whatever, post them on Friends of First Class. Show us that you showed up out there and all that good stuff. We'd love to see it.
Please do.
Yeah. Appreciate it. You guys have a good one. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you Monday.
Peace.
Oh, tripping.
What?
I want to give thanks to Omaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Thanks to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. And thanks to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. Please tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. So we can get as many voices in the conversation as possible. Conversation rules the nation. And we really appreciate everybody that is in and that does that. And also everybody who is a reoccurring sponsor of the channel as well. The $10 people, the $25 people, the $50 a month people. Become a monthly member of this channel so we can continue this as well if you are so inclined. Go to firstskyOmaha.com and hit the donate button. We really appreciate all that help, and we really appreciate all of you. This would not be happening without you, so thank you so much for that.
Yep. Next week is the last week.
Next week is the last week, and we got some doozy of some guests for you for this last week coming too. So, yeah. Get ready. With that said, now we can get out of here properly. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you Monday.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the red, the black, and the green. Crossroad with the key.
By any means.